And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I am your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
Jabron.
The Parlay
You
Pounder.
got it.
And we are getting back into your wheelhouse
I'm
here.
jacked up.
That is the UFC. Yeah, that's why I had to do a little Bruce Buffer
For sure.
invitation there. You know, no one can be the Bruce.
It's time.
He's the big dog. But it's time. You're exactly right. This is UFC 295 at Madison Square Garden, New York. Back at the Garden. Main card starts at 9 o'clock, that pay-per-view, 9 p.m.
Yeah.
And it's Saturday. It's Veterans Day.
Yeah.
The UFC does it right. So many cool things going on.
For sure. Yeah, the Huskers have already won. You're at home.
Yep.
You wanted, something to watch that's not college football.
Yep.
UFC 295 at Madison Square Garden is the place to be. First fight that we want to get into, Andy, we're going right up to the top three fights of this one because it's loaded at the top. We got we got two title fights, and then we got this strawweight women's fight, which is going to be one of the best that you're going to see here. Mackenzie Dern versus Jessica Andrade. And Mackenzie Dern's a huge favorite here at minus 220.
Yeah, and she should be because Andrade she's coming off a few losses.
Yeah.
I think she's showing her age. The Brazilian, she weighs more, but that's been the story in a lot of her fights at strawweight. She's at 132, and she's taking on Dern, the American Mackenzie, who's weighs in at a 115, both made weight. You guys are on a reach. I just don't have any faith in the older Brazilian here in Jessica.
No, that's just the way it is, Andy. You spelled it out perfect there. Jessica, who's on a 3-fight losing streak, has lost by stoppage in every single one of them. She hasn't looked like her normal self, like you said. Now she is back down to strawweight, where Dern will have a big advantage on the ground. Although Dern doesn't have the best takedowns, she is still able to push Andre towards the fence and work her down to the ground that way. Once Dern gets her on the ground, it's money in the bank. So if you want to look at a kind of a play here that I'm looking at, Andy, it's Mackenzie Dern to win by submission is at a plus 120 at most books right now.
Does that include stoppage, win by submission?
By submission.
Any kind of stoppage?
No, it has to be, she has to tap.
And it doesn't give you a moment of pause there, knowing that Dern might not be the best grappler out there?
I just know that once she gets her down to the ground, she is one of the best. She is one of the best at it once she gets down on the ground. I just don't see the value at putting Mackenzie Dern at minus 220 because I believe she's going to win, but there's just not a lot of value at minus 220.
There really isn't, and I have zero faith in the Brazilian here after watching the last couple of bouts with her. I don't even know what you'd be looking at or looking for.
One of the best women fighter of all time, but like you said, age catches up to everybody, and this past champion, it's probably time to take her out to ranch, and this might be the fight that does it.
Bet the American minus 205. Dern going all the way. Mackenzie, don't let us down on Veterans Day. She's got to defend home turf.
She's
gonna. The Garden. All right, let's move on up this card here. These are a couple heavyweights, and this is for the belt. After a couple shuffling at the top here, a couple guys, deserving guys. And every time we talk about Sergey Pavlovich,
love him,
and Tom Aspinall, the number 4 contender in the world, the Englishman, these guys pummel people. They take care of business. I think every single time we talk about these guys, they've come out winners. Even when Sergey was an underdog, it just doesn't matter. And Sergey, by the way, is the number 2 contender in the world. Both are at a minus money right now. Aspinall, a slight favorite at minus 118.
Yeah, nobody knows where to go with this one, Andy, and it's correct because, like you said, these guys are both coming in.
Yeah.
Sergey was the backup fighter for John Jones versus Stipe. Obviously, neither one of them wanted to fight one of these guys. So here we are with Aspinall versus Sergey. This is a very good fight, Andy. I love it.
Yeah.
It's a striking duel, Andy. That's just what it is across the board, which it's almost certainly going to win within
knockout.
The first 2 rounds.
It's going to be a knockout. Yeah. And that's how that's how these betting lines are laid out right now. No doubt. Right?
Yes.
What is it, 1.5 over?
Yeah, over under 1.5 is that big minus money right here with the under. It's a 5-round fight, but these guys are not looking for that. That's not how they fight. I like Sergey. I've been on him, like you said, for a while now, wanting him to get a shot. And this isn't John Jones. This is Tom Aspinall. I'm a huge fan of Tom Aspinall. Obviously, we've talked about him on the show, but Sergey's had a full camp. He's been been preparing for the role of the backup for Jones versus Stipe. Yep. Secondly, he's at least just as good a striker as Aspinall, but he has a much longer reach than the Englishman. Pavlovich's arms are 6 inches longer than those of Aspinall. So he should be able to prevent him from unleashing that full power. So I love Sergey. I think he's going to knock him out probably in round 1.
Probably a round 1 knockout. And that 6-inch reach is crazy because he's 2 inches shorter than Aspinall. Aspinall looks like an NFL
he really does.
rush end. I mean, he looks like a machine. Just cut. Sergey, kind of a different shape to him, the Russian. But man, can he pummel you. He's a striker.
He's a striker. Both guys striker. This is going to be one of the funnest fights. But make sure you're there for the start of the round because it could be over quickly.
Don't get caught at the refrigerator.
Do not get caught at the refrigerator.
And these two guys, between them, only have 4 losses. Sergey's sitting at 18-1. Tom Aspinall, 13-3 overall in the UFC.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty impressive stuff.
In all of their wins, all knockouts.
And big names, too, for the latter half of who they've been going against.
For sure. It's a lot of fun. I can't wait to watch this fight.
All right, should we move out to the title?
Let's
the title fight, the headliner.
Let's do a title fight again.
We're going to check in with Chinchilla Prochazka.
Yeah.
He is a plus 102 underdog to Alex Pereira, who's the number 3 contender in the world. The Brazilian has got so much. I mean, he just came from the kickboxing world, right? Yeah. And he just kind of took the UFC by storm. Of course, he had that win over your guy, Izzy.
Yeah.
But then Izzy got him back.
He got him back.
And shot the arrows at him and everything else.
Yeah.
But it just kind of feels like Pereira's not going anywhere.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that, Andy, but I'm going to tell you why you're dead wrong.
Oh, here we go.
Yuri is coming for this title, his title. He's getting it back. Alex Pereira is doing a very bad thing here and coming up too
fast?
Light heavyweight to fight this guy. Yuri Prochazka had the belt before. He took it away from Glover Teixeira. Then he got hurt, so he had to give it up, all that kind of stuff. So I believe Alex Pereira is kind of out of his element here because I think he thinks that he's going to be a lot more, agile and faster than this guy.
Right.
But this guy is
a heavyweight. Light heavyweight.
A light heavyweight.
Yeah.
And Alex Pereira has, they say he's a light heavyweight, but he had the advantage when he went down to fight people like Izzy and stuff like that.
Right.
He could shed those pounds and still be as big as he was. This guy is just as big as him and has fought people just as big as him. Yuri, if you just go down the line, Andy, I'm just looking at his past fights.
Unbelievable record. 29-3-1. That's a lot of fights.
And he got a title shot within his first 3 fights of the UFC.
Yikes.
They do not do that with people, Andy, unless they see promise in this. So he beat Volkan, he beat Dominic Reyes, and then he beat Glover for the light heavyweight title. I just believe you can get this guy at plus money right now. Do it. I just love this guy across the board.
And there's still not a lot of tape on Alex.
No, there's not.
I mean, he just hasn't. 8-2's his record.
Yeah. I
and
know
he's bouncing around between classes. That doesn't work out for very many guys in the UFC.
No, it really doesn't.
No.
And they both fighters, if I can go technical a little bit, Andy, have similar fighting styles because they have a solid striking background and and a kickboxing background as well. The elite striking by both men was a key to their success in the octagon so far. But Yuri's a little bit more,
polished?
I wouldn't say polished, but a little more funky, and he gets really good angles and stuff. Pereira, on the other hand, is a much more calculated, sophisticated striker. He patiently waits, but he kind of gets himself at a counter is how he likes to do it, but we saw that backfire
That's
against...
some jiu-jitsu there, doing the counter thing.
I mean, he also packs a thunderous right-hand punch. Any one of these guys can win on one punch, but I really just believe Yuri wins this by TKO. I got him putting down Alex, and Alex might be retiring after this. One other thing that I have to say,
No
Andy,
way.
Yuri Prochazka, 31 years of age.
Yeah.
Alex Pereira, 36 years of age. This is another one that I think this guy might be living out his dream in one of his last title fights ever, just because this guy's getting old.
Yeah.
And he's jumping around weight classes, trying to get title fights.
Right.
Yuri's going to put him out, and this might be the last we see of Alex.
In a title fight anyway, because, he's had a lot of opportunities really early in his career. He's been around. He just hasn't been around the UFC very long.
For sure.
And Yuri, like you have mentioned and went through that list of fights, his overall record, he's been around the block. He's been there.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's ready to take that belt back.
I really do believe he needs his belt back. What better way to do it? The mecca of all meccas at Madison Square Garden.
Yep.
Fighting a very good fighter in Alex Pereira. This is going to be a fun one, too.
All righty. So we're going with Yuri.
Yeah, we're going with Yuri, Andy. And if you want to, sprinkle a little bit of this on a parlay, I got 3+ money bets to sprinkle on them with you. We got Mackenzie Dern by submission at +120. Sergey Pavlovich to win by TKO +120 as well. Yuri Prochazka to win by TKO at a +180. You put them all three together, Andy. It's a +1255 bet if you put $20 on that, Andy. Just 20.
Okay, yeah.
You're getting $271 in return. You can't beat that value.
Hey,
it's a fun way to spend $20.
$20. It's Saturday night. It's Veterans Day. Take a minute to remember and all those good things.
Yeah.
And then sprinkle a little on a parlay here and cash it in, right?
Exactly. Or you just pick one of those plus money bets and put a whole bunch on it. I'll probably do both. So
nice. Like it. UFC 295. You can bet we're getting that pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Well, let's take a minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Nebraska Brewing Company. We have been drinking I have been, their pumpkin ale, Wick for Brains. I bought the last 6-pack from my local grocery store.
Yeah.
Crafted with real pumpkins, giving it a rich amber ale seasonal flavor not found in other pumpkin ales. What do you got?
I'm getting back on the Taco Vesa train, Andy. They have been back at my local Hy-Vee.
There we go.
It's one of the best easy drinking beers on the market. It's very good, very easy drinking beer from Nebraska Brewing Company.
It's like a Tecate, but a little smoother, I would say.
For sure.
Little smoother. There we go. Nebraska Brewing Company, world class in every glass. Don't go anywhere. This is WTL.